All right, I think I will just get started by chatting for a minute while everybody gets on the live stream. I'm a little bit late, so I know a lot of people were expecting me in about like 30 minutes ago, but we were trying to get all of the cameras set up because I actually am setting up a second camera this time so that we can try to also post it on YouTube. For the purpose of the live reading, I decided to select work from members of the group that I started. So the Writers and Poets Cafe Facebook group submitted work that they wanted to have read during the live reading, and I think I capped it off at about 15 poems, but I'm going to probably continue doing it that way and taking submissions only through the group for the time being until I can figure out an alternative, because when I did it kind of out to like the general population through Instagram, I had some kind of weird stuff happen afterwards, and I want to make sure I'm vetting people who are serious about poetry and serious about growing their poetry page or their or whatever work that they're doing as far as writing. So I think the majority of the members of the group are poets and write poetry. However, we do have probably some people that are dabbling in other types of writing as well. And so I want to open that up to writers and poets in the group. And then, so I think, again, moving forward, it's going to be people submitting their work through our Facebook group. That makes me feel a little bit more comfortable for right now, because when I did the 3 live readings leading up to New Year's Day, some stuff that followed that was just kind of unfortunate and odd. So I just want to honor people who are actually going to be honoring, kind of be kind to people who are going to be kind back, basically. So that's what I'm trying to do, at least right now. So I'm going to also just share a little bit, kind of an intro. My name is Deanna. I go by the pen name Eve Poetry. I've been writing since I was in the 4th grade. Well, obviously before that too, but writing in terms of creatively and my first writing competition was in the 4th grade, and I won the classroom vote. So my piece was submitted to the school overall, and I think that's when I realized that I really loved writing and that I might actually have a talent with that. And I think it kind of clicked with me when I was 9 years old. So I sort of backshelved my interest in that as I became an adult. Life happened, and I think that happens to a lot of us, that we end up following the path that pays the bills and feel that it may be a little silly to pursue our passion. So I have 3 children. I have a 19-year-old son, and I have daughters that are 15 and 12. Both of my daughters are very talented and artistic in different ways. And I found myself in the last few years encouraging them to follow their passion and their art and continue to work on that. And then I realized that I was actually not setting a good example because I wasn't doing that for myself. So I started my poetry page on Instagram and used the pen name, my pen name Eve Poetry, in a way kind of to hide, because I didn't really want my face out there, and I didn't really want people to know, read my stuff, that the people that knew me to read my work. I was actually kind of a little bit embarrassed to start putting my work out there, and that's a silly thing. I don't know why I was doing that, or why I felt like I needed to be embarrassed about writing and pursuing something that's more of a passion project. But I did. I kind of hid behind my pen name and didn't have a photo of myself up there, and didn't tell any of my family about what I was doing. My girls, I did tell my daughters, but that was it. And then recently, I realized that I wasn't putting my whole heart into it, and if I was actually going to practice what I preach to my daughters, I really needed to put my whole self into it and not hide behind my pen name and not hide behind my work. So that's where I really started getting more serious about Eve Poetry, and then more recently I started the group, the Writers and Poets Cafe Facebook group. We have about 50 members right now, and it's only about a week old, or it's only been on going for about a week. So I'm excited about how many people have joined, and it's, I mean, very talented people with different styles from all over the world, and it's exciting that it's already growing, and the types of people and the talent that we have in the room already is really cool. So I'm excited about this little adventure we're on with this writing group. And okay, so I'm gonna get started. I don't want to get into that too much, but the reason why it took me a little bit longer to get set up for the live reading today was because I wanted 2 different cameras. When you do a live, you have to have the video like vertical, which doesn't work super good, or it does not work well when you have like that vertical view if you want to post something to YouTube. So I wanted to start sharing that on. Hello. Hi, Mark Johnson. I am good. So I want to start posting these videos also on our YouTube, our group's YouTube channel. So and again, for that, it's just providing more exposure to the members' work and trying to use more than just one platform to get, you know, the word out that you are talented, and you know, get your work, your poem and poetry out there. So I want your work to be heard by as many people as possible, and using multiple platforms on social media is a really great way to do that. So, okay, I'm gonna stop rambling now, and the first poem I have is by the Instagram handle is God's One Son. Now I'm gonna probably stick to just saying the members' Instagram handle, IG handle right now, because I'm not sure if these members want their actual names shared. And if you do, or if you don't mind, hi. If you don't mind me sharing your actual name, let me know. And when I go ahead and post, hi Cody. If I go ahead and post this to the YouTube channel, I will include your actual names if you are comfortable with that. So, all right. Again, this is the poem. Cool, maybe it's time I start sharing too. Yes, I think you should. That was Satin's Verdun, I believe. Oh, don't worry, Cody. Cody said, hello, sorry I'm late. Yeah, I was late, so you're just in time. I haven't even started reading any poetry yet. So, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I think I've said that 4 times now, but eventually I'll get smooth with this, guys, so bear with me. Hi, Chris. Okay, so, and this particular poetry reading is meant to be interactive. So when I finish a piece, I really would love you guys to share some feedback about the poem I just read. So please chime in and give the author some feedback. All right. So this is called Trip with Faith. It is by God's One Son. Faith came to me in the night, told me about a journey for the next day. In the early morning, we hit the road. He replaced one of my eyes with his. Then he put work in my hands, and he went way ahead of me. He told me, your eye could see things that would get you scared. Close your eye and see with mine. The journey wasn't as easy as I thought. So many times I got stuck, Then I would see with his eye, and suddenly a way would pave. Oh, I wouldn't forget the doubts cave. Sometimes he would come back to pull me out. He was the help I couldn't do without. To cut the long story short, after the countless hills and valleys, we made it back home with all the work fully done. From then, I learnt the way by faith. And that was called Trip with Faith. Hi, Robin. Great visual. I agree. I like the personification of faith a lot. That was just another book club. It's a very creative way to personify faith. I completely agree. By looking through the eye, it was good. I think it was supposed to display spiritual sight. That was by Uncut Volume 1. It can be scary. Very true. I agree as well with that. It's for those, whatever faith that you believe, I think it's very true. Faith in anything is scary and then trying to take on that new sight and walk with faith. I love the way he puts this. Ann's _thought says, it was a different way of writing, which was amazing to see. I like it too. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Very universal and sounds mysterious. That was B. Juliet. And just another book club says, my connection is going in and out. I have to come back and watch it later. That's fine. No problem. Good luck, everyone. Looking forward to it. No problem. All right, you guys. Thank you for your feedback on God's One Son. He's incredibly talented, and I always find all of his work has some really unique insight, and there's a lot of wisdom in his work, and I always use that word. It's like that's the key word I use with everything I read from him is the key word is wisdom. Like he just has a lot of just so much insight that is valuable. Let's see here. The next person I have, their IG account is called Sparkling Words. So Sparkling Words, the title is Introvert Love. She doesn't have fire in her eyes, yet there is warmth. She doesn't always chuckle, but when she does it with all her heart. Her words are few and precious. She doesn't feel the need to be loud, to be heard. She is the one you'd see snuggled in a corner of her room, with a book, her warm blanket. Her thoughts, they run endlessly with no place to go. She guards them, searches solace amidst them. Her fears reside there too. If your vibes match with hers, she'll invite you, not for a cup of coffee or small talks, but for a share of her soul. That day she'll blabber endlessly, laugh out loud, and slowly her thoughts will pause and rest within you. And that was Introvert Love. Sweet interpretation of her opening up. I agree. What people, people's language of love doesn't look the same for everybody. I know that, everybody has that Hollywood version of love and what it's supposed to be, right? Like people kind of fantasize at love quite a lot. And I like her sharing what love is for her and how she shows it, how she displays love and what it, what it means to her. And I think it's nice to see what real love looks like to people, not the, vulnerability, exactly. It's not all Hollywood, right? There's that real tangible love and what it really means and what it really is for people. I like seeing that. I like seeing people's interpretation of what love is, because it's real. And the next one I have, I feel like I never say this right, but Panacea Poet. Sorry if I don't pronounce that correctly. Oh, I have another. Uncut Volume 1 says, did my ex write that? LOL, I liked it. Love doesn't have to be bells and whistles. It can be quiet and subtle, but felt deeper. Very true. All right, so the next one is by the IG handle Panacea Poet. And it's called Reverse on Life. I am a failure, so I can't believe that things will eventually get better. Everything will be okay is a falsification. I will never be good enough. One day I hope I can convince myself against the loss of hope because darkness is better than having brightness. Let me explain. Someday, I want to be able to smile truthfully, happy. I don't know if that will ever happen. I grow closer to letting go. I tell myself I will never find my path to a happy life. I do not trust that. I will find a way to make it through. In the future, I know things may continue to get worse. I won't be able to say that I am actually okay. I will become transparent, knowing I will have finally lost all of my hope. It would be thoughtless of me to assume this life wasn't doomed from the start. If only I could reverse time. And then this is a reverse poem, so I'm going to read from the bottom to the top. If only I could reverse time, this life wasn't doomed from the start. It would be thoughtless of me to assume I have finally lost all of my hope. I will become transparent knowing that I am actually okay. I won't be able to say things may continue to get worse in the future. I know I will find a way to make it through. I do not trust that I will never find my path to a happy life. I tell myself I grow closer to letting go. I know if that will ever happen, I want to be able to smile truthfully, happy someday. Let me explain. Brightness is better than having darkness. One day I hope I can convince myself against the loss of hope. Because I will never be good enough if a falsification, because I will never be good enough is a falsification. Everything will be okay. Things will eventually get better. So I can't believe that I am a failure. I love that. I love that the reverse poem concept. It's really new to me. I've never tried writing one like that, and I love how unique it is. So what do you guys think about that? Hi, Tommy. I saw Helicopter come in and Z Tommy boy. Someone says, perfect example of seeing glass half full rather than empty. Yes, Uncut Volume. And Satin's Verdant said, genius. That was good. I agree. That was awesome. It was actually very depressing reading it the first way. And then when you read it back up the other way, it's that amazing, like, oh, okay. Completely and totally the opposite of what, I mean, it was brilliant. It was really creative and brilliant. That was good. It is very, very good. Any other thoughts on Reverse on Life? You have to share with me like where you learned that, you know, that style, that reverse style, where you take a poem and you can, you know, organize it in such a way that it has one meaning as you read it down, you know, the natural way to read a poem. You read it, you know, like as you would read a book page, and then reading it backwards up, you know, how you come up with that structure to be able to do that. That's a very, very, it takes a lot of talent to do that. And Nayan Shankar says, only we can see the stars in the darkness. Temporary darkness is a great teacher. That's true. I like that. Oh, and it says, it was two ways of thinking, and the writer is asking the audience to pick one. Very creative. That is. It's another good way to look at it, too. kind of choose your own ending. Those books that I used to love when I was a kid at the library. You know, you get to choose which direction the story would go. Okay, so the author for the last one I just read said, thank you. I actually was looking up different styles and looked at patterns some others used. That's fun. It's kind of cool to find a different style. I've never tried that. That's something new to all of us, I think. A lot of us have probably heard something like that for the first time. So thank you. All right, so the next author, JDC writes, and it is, in your planet I stayed. You said you would come back for me, so in your planet I stayed. You told me to wait for you, so on your planet I prayed. I stayed in your orbit, adrift in your space, while you said you needed more time as you circled and paced. You wandered the vast universe, saying it would be so. Instead, you wandered the vast universe as somebody that I used to know. I stayed on your planet, and from the surface I waved, but you flew by, unconcerned, with another place to stay. I stayed on your strange planet, where new life could never grow, left waiting, left wondering when the glow of the fading moon would show. I stayed on your cold planet, way too far from the sun, realizing in my reclusiveness that I was always the only one. I stayed on your distant planet, alone, abandoned and dry, while you watched me sit here, letting me thirst, starve, and die. I stayed in your planet, forgotten, unconcerned, waiting for you to come back, but knowing you would never return. So what are your thoughts on that, guys and gals? That was beautiful. I mean, that was so well written. Thank you for sharing that with us and for letting me read that. Any thoughts on In Your Planet I Stayed? All right, if anybody has anything they would like to share about that, let me know. Oh, here we go. Definitely filled with tons of emotion from the author. Some of the best poetry. Beautiful piece, love the emotion. All right, I'll keep going. That one was beautiful. The different levels of heartache and the realization that this person's not coming back for them is, I love the way that you layered that, and that it grew, and it just became more and more sad and heartbreaking. Again, let's see. Well, the next person, author, the Instagram handle is keyed_poetry. And I don't know if you have a title for this, and I apologize. Oh, Blood Countess. It's called Blood Countess. I apologize. Oh, it's called, I was asked, what's the name of your Facebook group again? And the name of the Facebook group is Writers and Poets Cafe. And it is, if you, there might be, if you try to find it on Facebook, it might not come up right off the bat because it's a newer group and there are kind of similarly named groups. So you just could, if you go to my bio on Instagram, there's a link that will take you right there. Okay, so this is called Blood Countess by Keyed_poetry. Crimson colored method of madness, brilliance on the dwelling of malice. Glory to the bite of Hungary. In blood she reigns, Elizabeth Bathory. O virgin pure in midnight's caress, the goat of Mendian you please to impress. Mutilation, torture, such is their fate. Erotic sacrifice in the Bathory estate. Daughters of men chosen to die. Screams encompass the red moon sky. In the shadow of darkness she remains, satiating her bloodlust for an immortal name. Blood Countess, Blood Countess, Blood Countess. And that was by Keyed Poetry. So I'll give you guys a second if anybody wants to Am I late? A little bit, it's okay. That's JS Poet 95. I have not read your work yet. Poet for you. Made a poem on you? You mean me? Hi, JDC writes, I just read yours. I just finished reading Keyed Poetry, but before that I read yours. So on Keyed Poetry's work, she's a Panacea Poet. I feel like I keep saying it 3 different ways every time I say it. Very visual and great use of vocabulary. Seems like a very deep poem. Love their writing style. Okay. So the next one is, very conveniently, because he just joined the room, by JS Poet 95. And this poem is inspired by one of his top favorites, Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. And I actually have birds, some crows, squawking right outside my door right now. Oh, so somebody just added, I liked the word play. Didn't really get meaning besides bloodshed. Maybe you could enlighten me. So I believe his poem is actually based on an actual literary character. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But if you actually read it, the visual helps because you actually see the name. He actually uses an actual name of a character, and it'll help kind of tell the story, I think. So you could actually read that again on his Instagram for Keyed_poetry. Is it a raven? I wish it was a raven. That would be convenient, but I think there's a couple crows up in the tree outside my window, and they're loud. So it's really loud, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if you could hear it. Thank you. I will check that. Poet for You said I have sent a poem in your inbox. I'll have to check it after this, though. All right. So again, JS Poet 95. It is called A Dewdrop. Sitting in the bathroom, a call from nature, doing my duty and nothing more. A fallen dewdrop hit my head's back, huge and cold, that when it touched my skin, my whole body numbed, and like a poison running through my veins, killing me but awakening my dead soul. I looked up and cursed nevermore. Then in a sort of revenge, many of them started falling more. Drop, drop, drop. But I didn't feel cold this time. My body wasn't resisting anymore. Or perhaps dead to feel the pain. Yes, so dead and nothing more. So that was inspired by The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. You are so welcome. I love that. I think that's incredibly creative. And it sounds like something that he would have written, right? Any other feedback or comments, guys and gals? Any questions for the author who's in our live feed right now? Yeah, you should read his poem. Where can I... Yeah, I send my poem so that you would read it? Yeah, I would totally, absolutely happy. Oh, you mean the Raven? Oh, I would love to. I don't have it available right now. That would be fun to do. Or maybe I could have you read it. And somebody just asked, were you referring to be immune to the pain? It's for you, JS Poet. Were you immune to the pain? Was that what you were saying in your poem? You could say so. So the author says you could say so. Sorry, to being immune to the pain. Oh, that you're not feeling pain anymore. So like you went numb to the pain, maybe? Yeah. Okay, so the next one is by, I'm gonna share it in the comments after the video or the live stream. I'm gonna try to read the IG name. It's Noor, Noor _ Alzagal _ poetry. And it goes like this. I flirt with the darkness, muttering apologies, murmuring complaints, uttering compliments to the lonely night, oblivious of all the syllables being sent to oblivion. Did y'all catch that one? Any thoughts on it? That was very short and sweet, and I love all of the words that you put in that one. Some of you guys are still talking about talking to JS Poet 95. I'm gonna read it again. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Happily, we'll read it again. I flirt with the darkness, muttering apologies, murmuring complaints, uttering compliments to the lovely night, oblivious of all the syllables being sent to oblivion. Short yet beautiful. I don't know if the author is in our live feed right now. I know we definitely have some big time zone constraints with our group, so I know a lot of our members are sleeping. They're on the other side of the world. So that was beautiful. If you want to find that poem, the author, their IG handle is NOOR _ ALZAGHAL _ poetry. The next one is from our member, B Juliet W, B.Julie.TTE.W. And her caption for this on Instagram says, there is something I wrote when feeling these extremes. Or this is something, sorry. What do you think? How do you handle overwhelming emotions, love, and light? And this is called Calibrations. No, everything will not be okay. Not all the time. Sometimes things will be terribly bad. Heartbreaking, spirit crushing. There is no point in life bad. Sometimes will be overwhelmingly good. Sorry guys. Healthy, progressive with life can only get better good. Neither are permanent, but both are essential to the human condition. We were meant to feel these extremes. Think of them as ways of calibrations, from one extreme to the next, and mostly we will land smack dab in the middle. So you ask, will everything be okay? No, everything will not be okay, not all the time. So that was Calibrations by B. Juliet W. So I think it's true about human nature, how we have to accept the bad things that happen, because I think all of us can relate to. This is so dark and gloomy, beautiful though. Yeah, it is, but it's also like reality, right? I mean, I think we're all in the habit of people asking us like, how are you doing? And we just say good, and a lot of times when people ask, they're kind of just being polite, and we don't want to bother them with what's real and true and how we're actually feeling. And the fact is that life isn't always sunshine and happy and wonderful. But it's those moments that make the good times feel better, right? Yeah, so relatable, says JS Poet 95. It is. I really like that one. Thank you. B. Juliet. The next one is called Pray, and it's by Athena.Mercoris. And it goes like this. Faith unending, pray with heart and soul, beg for forgiveness to make the broken whole. Pieces of mosaic, sharp edges hard to hold, held together by a thread of tears stained in gold. Healing wounds, one breath at a time. The road to mercy is paved in rhyme. That was by Athena Mercuris. All right. I'm happy to read your comments if you guys have any feedback for the author. Nice, right? Yes, it was really nice. The next one is by Just Another Book Club. So it's just another book club with underscores in between each word. And his is called Sweetheart. Rest a little longer in my arms. It's better for us both. Stay a little longer in my heart. You're always welcome there. I leave the door unlocked, hoping to find you on my couch. One morning I wake up. I am proof insanity walks, but I'm not crazy. I just love the bitter aftertaste of hope. I am well aware my heart will be the death of me. And you were referencing Poet For You said it would be better if she is more contented rather than concentrating on the rhyme. And you were talking about the one we just read for Athena's poem. So what are your thoughts on Cody's poem, Sweetheart? It's definitely something relatable, in my opinion. Beautifully done, very well done, Cody. Poet For You says good one. I agree. All right. The next poem is by Words to Whisper. That's the IG handle. Oh, JS Poem said overwhelming. Yeah. I feel like going back to Cody's, he does a really good job taking in a little shorter, he's really great at capturing in a short poem, you know, and it's not that short, but it's, you know, it's just a few, it's about 5 or 6 lines, and he says a lot with, he says a lot in all of that. What I just read, it was so quick, but it said quite a lot about how that person feels and that feeling of hope that they're just going to show up. And there's a lot of depth to that. And I love that. I love when people can capture that much depth in such a succinct set of words, right? So the next one, Words to Whisper, and it goes like this. Who is this woman? I want to know more. Inspiration in her beauty, but it's the insight I adore. She tells me come close as she whispers in my ear. I tried so hard to listen, but her words I couldn't hear. My breath escaped in a panic. I tried to find the perfect words. Instead, my mouth just drew closer to hers. We shared a single breath. Her touch calmed my nerves. In that very moment, happiness was preserved. It was beautiful. And that was a lovely love poem. That was perfect. Perfect description of you know, it just feels like a real raw emotion and real feelings. Wild Poetry Girl just shared a happy or a smiley heart emoji, or the heart eyes. Yes, very romantic. I would be happy to check out your poetry. JS Poet 95 says, I remember commenting on this one. It's a great piece. It is. Oh, thank you. Oh, thanks. I thought you were, yeah, thank you. That was a very nice compliment. I appreciate that. So if you want me to check out your poetry, I would definitely recommend joining our Facebook group. You don't have to, but I'm really focusing a lot on the members of the group at the moment. So that would be a great way to get me to really pour through your feed is if you want to join our Facebook group. All right, the next one is by Joanna the Poet. And this one's called, or her caption, and perhaps the title is Mother Nature or Not, I Am No Ghandi. Oh, and the title is actually I'd Be No Ghandi. If I were Mother Nature, I'd be no Ghandi. I would snatch my roots from beneath me and thrust ripples into their backs. So I'd instill more fear than any master. When they'd beg for my mercy, I'd cry onto them until their slash marks turned into rivers. And when they'd beg to be washed anew, I'd soak their souls in oiled waters. Fish them out with sharpened claws, then dry them off with their evil green. And when they'd die, I'd bury them in vacant lands, and use their bones to scrape away at polluted skies. And that was Joanna the Poet. Remind us about the subject, please. What do you mean? Are you asking about the poem or about this live feed? So this poem that Joanna the Poet wrote was actually really beautiful, and it's really, if Mother Nature could talk, that's how I interpret it. Mother Nature might be quite angry or hurt by how we've treated the world, I guess, and I think that is a lovely depiction of maybe that, right? Oh, about this live. Yeah, this live is, we are doing a live poetry reading. So right now I'm reading poetry from our group, the Writers and Poets Cafe. It's a Facebook group. And I have a couple more poems to read, and then we'll be wrapping it up, and I'll answer some more questions after that. So does anybody have any comments about Joanna the Poet and her poem, I'd Be No Ghandi? I would recommend definitely check out her Instagram and read that for yourself. I think it's beautifully done and has a lot of layers in it. I believe that there's a lot more depth and meaning to it, and I think if you actually look at it, along with she used a really beautiful photo along with her words, and I think it helps sort of set the whole thing up if you can actually see it. The next one I'm going to read is, the Instagram is Teacher to Poet, is the Instagram handle. And this is how it goes. Oh wait, okay, I think I got it, thank you, and I appreciate replying on my question. You're welcome. Hi. All right, so again, this is Teacher to Poet, and this is his poem. Okay, my kids will never know just how much love could be shown in the making of a mixtape. This physicality is forgotten and the effort is lost, and so much more that we felt ordinary will seem extraordinary in the ears of our young. I don't believe for a minute that my grandparents walked miles barefoot in the snow, but my own reality will seem unreal to future generations. Technology has taken the work out of our lives. My kids will never know just how much love could be shown in the making of a mixtape. Forget your Spotify playlist and iTunes. This was hard work. You could lose a whole day putting 90 minutes of music together, recording from the radio, taping on one deck while playing from another. It wasn't just selecting the songs. It was manually minimizing the dead air, calculating the duration of the songs and the tape itself to maximize the music. It required effort, and there was always the risk that it wouldn't last. That tape itself would get tangled and need to be carefully wound back with a pencil, of all things. And there were tabs on the top of the tape itself, whose presence and absence determined whether your music was safe or could be accidentally erased or recorded over. This physicality is forgotten and the effort is lost, and so much more that we felt ordinary will seem extraordinary in the ears of our young. So, I know I can totally relate exactly to that. I ponder things like that all the time, things that my kids will never understand or know what it feels like. JS Poet says, it's so real, I like it. And Poet for You says, classic. So true. It's those memories of Saturday morning, you know, having to look at the newspaper to find out what cartoons would be on, not being able to rewind television. There are so many things that my kids will never have the experience of. All right, the next one is by my_soul poetry. And it goes like this. How passionately we are drowned, you see, in the moment of love. I held him tight like it was the only day left. Every inch of my skin sensed our hearts skip a beat. He took off my mask, the mask that concealed my broken half. How gently, in multiple strokes, he painted on and on, the lost colors of my life, the story my eyes revealed, that smile that had abandoned my lips, my tender skin that was seeking his warmth, my tangled hairs through which his fingers ran, how gently he painted on and on.
I didn't know it was going to be that loud, I'm sorry.
It's okay. My daughter is making coffee, if you can't hear that, but it just happens. Our kids feel the same way, nostalgic pain, or the same nostalgic pain, yeah. Any thoughts on my soul poetry? I love the love poems. That was beautiful. God's one son. Lovely romance, soulful, says Poet for You. Ann's_thought says deep. And I have one final poem to read. The Instagram handle for this is brickword_. And this is called Playing Games. What is pain? Pain is drinking the effects of what you threw up, a bile so acidic it dissolves your apology. Pain is a dying flower in summer, a useless sun. Pain is funny sometimes. It makes you laugh. Punching your gut, it blinds your judgment. Listen to your gut, they say. Listen to your gut, but you laugh and you hear the noise coming from your mouth. You feel pain punching your intuition into oblivion. Pain is intrusive. It can walk all over you, and without your permission, it'll come knocking, but you'll open the door, surprised yet all-knowing of the choice you made. Then we ask, is pain a choice? We hurt, we laugh, we cry cylinders. Pain is round. It circles your joy, chasing it as a kitten would yarn. Pain looks for joy as if it were its mate, a positive to its negative. Pain finds no satisfaction as a standalone, contaminating every piece of peace. Piece of peace. hide in slithers of your mind. Pieces of peace cling to memories paint can't. An armor in war, a painful war, but we fight. Sometimes we lose, other times we win, but pain is a game, and for some reason we play. So that is the last one. Anybody have any comments for that? It's brickword _ and that is, it was called Playing Games. And actually Instagram's telling me that I only have less than a minute. Deep and philosophical, yes. Very much so. So I have 47 seconds left. He made a lot of interesting points about pain. It was a really unique perspective. I liked the way he, and if you go to the actual post, so I would encourage you to go to the post and read it, because he definitely used his words artistically too. So it gives it another layer. Thank you. It gives it another layer when you actually read it for yourself. So thank you. I have to go ahead and close this out because it's about to shut off on me, because I guess there's a maximum amount of time you can do this. So thank you guys for watching. And if you want to join the room, the link is in my bio.